Good morning, grade 5. Today is Thursday, March 26. Our topic is in page 277, chapter 6, lesson 3. What are the inner planets? There are 8 known planets that revolve around the sun. A planet is a large, round object that revolves around a star and has a cleared region around its orbit. Basically, planets are not just 8, but in our solar system, astronauts and astronomers classify the nearest planet in the sun as inner planet. So there are 4 inner planets and then 4 outer planets. They arrange this system so that people will understand it easily. At the same time, people will classify planets easily. But there are more planets. Okay, so, but we will just study based on your level the inner and outer planets and some dwarf planets also. Okay, but let's start in inner planet. So the 4 closest planets to the sun are called the inner planets. Inner planets have rocky surface. Okay, the 4 inner planets or rocky planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Okay, because all of the planets revolve around the sun and then the stars that we see in the sky are much further away, we can see the planets such as positions relative to the stars from one night to the next. So if you can see here, in November 4, there is a pink circle here. What does it mean? It says in number 1, locate. The illustration shows what the night sky might look like 3 weeks apart. So circle the object in the night sky that might be a planet. So if you can observe, November 4, the location of this circled object is here. But in November 25, after 3 weeks later, this one is here now. So there is a difference in the location. So can you conclude about this? The possible answer for that one, the reason why this object is moving, it might be a planet. Remember that the star or our sun is not moving. The one that is moving are the planets and then the moon. But this is not the moon. Okay? This is a planet. Why is it moving? Because planets is orbiting around its orbit. So it is revolving. When I say orbiting, the other word for that one is revolving. Okay, so planets are revolving around its orbit. Even though some planets seems to shine, they do not give off their own light. Like the star, a planet shines because the light from nearby stars reflects off the planet's surface. Same also as Earth. Okay, so let's go to the next page. Orbiting object. So as I mentioned, when you hear the word orbiting, meaning it is revolving around its orbit. The size or the shape of orbit is elliptical. Elliptical is somehow like oval or circle. So it's a combination of circle and oval shape. Every planet in the solar system revolves around the sun. The orbit of the planets have slightly elliptical shape. Object in the solar system stays in their orbit because of the gravity. Without the gravity, the planet will just float away and then it will just crash over each other. That's why gravity is very important in the solar system. It keeps the planet in place. Gravity is the force attraction between the object. The force of the sun's gravity is large enough to keep the planets around the sun. So, here, girls, the larger the object, the larger the amount of the gravity. So the sun is responsible for keeping all those planets in place. So without the gravity in the sun also, okay, the planets are just floating apart. So in number 2, let's answer this one. Planets have years of different length because of the length of their orbit. So each planet, girls, have different size and length of orbit. Draw an X on the planet with the largest year. So if you try to look at here, so this is the arrangement of inner planets. So that is Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. So each planet, this line is the orbit. Okay, so each line has a different size and length. So each length will tell you how long it will travel along the sun. So in the question, write an X or draw an X on the planet that will have the longest year of revolving. So here in your book, the longest is the last planet. Okay, so that is Neptune. But I just cut it out, but you can just X in your book Neptune because the last planet here is Neptune. So try to cross it out. Okay, by the way, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars is the inner planet. The outer planet is Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. So I just cut it out because it's too big in the slide. So I call this one as I will write here the inner planet. I write an acronym so that my student could remember this. MVEM. What does MVEM means? M stands for Mercury, V stands for Venus, E stands for Earth, and M stands for Mars. For the outer planet, okay, I call it J, Sun, so that you could remember this easily. Acronym is the way how to memorize things better and easier. So I will put it here so that you can see it better. Okay, so outer planet stands for JSAN. J is Jupiter, S is for Saturn, U is for Uranus, and N is for Neptune. Okay, so I will type it for you. So Mercury is for M here, and then V is for Venus here, and then E is for Earth, and then M here is for Mars. So that is MVEM. So that if I ask you the complete list, you can easily remember. So J is Jupiter. So this is in order. Saturn is for S, and then U is for Uranus, and then N is for Neptune. Okay? But didn't you know, girls, that inner and outer planet there is a asteroid belt. Asteroid belt is the one dividing the inner and outer planet. So in between here, girls, there is an asteroid belt. Okay, so that is dividing the inner and outer planet. Okay, so let's discuss the characteristic of inner planets. Inner planets, they are made up mostly of rock and metals. So if you try to imagine, if can I land to the inner planets? Yes, you can land on it. Okay. If there are some astronauts that who wants to land, okay, the perfect planets to land are the 4 planets, which is the inner planets. But it is not proven yet that it is safe to land in 4 planets. So far, the only livable planet and then the good planet to land is our planet Earth. Okay, so inner planets are heavy in nature. At the same time, they move slowly into space because they are bigger. At the same time, their orbit is smaller compared to the outer planet. They have no rings and few moons. Okay, at the same time, planets are the closest planet to the Earth. What do you mean to the sun? Okay, so let's start with the first inner planet. The first inner planet is Mercury. Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun. It is a small planet slightly bigger than Earth. Mercury is covered with thousands of low spots called crater. Okay, crater is a spot. Okay, it's a hole also in the planet. Craters are made when meteorite and rocks crash the planet. So when there is a meteor crash, it could make a crater in the planet. Now here, Mariner 10 was the first spacecraft to visit Mercury. Okay, that is the name of the spacecraft. That spacecraft is not manned or crewed, meaning only the spaceship or the spacecraft reached and landed Mercury. Okay, I will repeat. When we are talking about spacecraft, okay, it could be manned, meaning it could be with a person or it could be just the spacecraft. Okay, the spacecraft landed, the spacecraft launched 1976, but a space probe is just like a robot, a moving robot, okay, landed 1973 in Mercury. What does it do? A space probe is a spacecraft that gathers data without a crew. Crew means people or person. It carries camera and other tools for studying different objects in the space. So they take some rocks and objects in Mercury to study. So a space probe is just a spacecraft without a human inside in it. Mercury has almost no atmosphere because it is so close to the sun. Mercury is scorching hot at day, at the same time at night it is super freezing cold. So in number 3, how might Mercury be different if it had a thicker atmosphere? It would not be cold at night. Okay? So by the way, this is the answer, girls, in question number 2, Neptune. So you need to cross it out. So I will make some extra information about Mercury. So Mercury is the closest planet. It orbits 88 days. So meaning it finished the travels around the sun in 88 days. Compared to Earth, Earth finished 365 days. So it finished the traveling around the sun 365. But Mercury, it's just 88 days to finish. Mercury has many craters. The temperature at day is 400 degrees Celsius, and then at night it's negative 180. Goodness, it's so cold. Basically, there is no atmosphere. Okay, there is no sky in this planet. That's why it's super hot and cold. Okay, another information about Mercury. Mercury is not the hottest planet, although it is the nearest planet. Okay, there's a reason behind that. I will discuss later. The next planet is Venus. Venus is the second planet from the sun. It is about the same size of the Earth. Sometimes they call it as the twin sister of the Earth. Okay, the clouds of Venus are very hot and toxic because uh, this makes Venus one of the brightest object in the sky. What I mean, you can see Venus here on Earth. This image shows that Venus would look like without the clouds. Okay, Venus with clouds and Venus without the clouds. That's why they call it as a twin sister of Earth. They almost have the same size at the same time. When you take off the clouds of Venus, it looks like this one. So it looks like Earth, right? But I will make a short summary of Venus in this page. Okay, Venus is the Earth twin sister planet. It is called the morning and evening star. Thick carbon dioxide and sulfur is covered. So in this picture in your book, the reason why it is like brownish red, it is because of the clouds that has a content of carbon dioxide at the same time with sulfur. Plants could grow here, but there is a sulfur.